Welcome back to episode 61 of the Black Squadron podcast. I'm BP, and joining me today, Darth Mari and Mr. Todd.
How you doing, big man?
Feeling good. Mari looking just absolutely evil. I love it.
I put on my makeup and I was really planning on going with a very subtle look, and then I was like, nope.
Just full dark side, full Darth Mari. Really getting to the thick of it.
She thought to herself, what would a Saj do?
Yeah, exactly.
Full send.
Yeah.
We're back for another episode. Whether you're a first-time listener, a long-time listener, welcome. All right, kids. What are we talking about tonight? So we're going to talk about the usual Star Wars news, not a ton. Some toy news, quite a bit. And tonight we're going to do a very special episode of Star Wars Legos, which I know Todd and Mari are both very excited about.
I love my Legos, man. I went the longest time without doing, like, staying away from Star Wars Legos. And then I can't remember who got me a set. I think it was my parents, actually. They got me the 20th anniversary Slave 1 set. And then from there, it's just been like a rabbit hole where every set that comes out, I'm like, that looks really nice. That looks really nice. That looks really nice. You're coming home with me. And
I wonder who got me into Legos. I'm pretty sure I'm staring at them.
Anyway, make sure you follow us on social media. We have been a very positive influence on Darth Mari's life. Before we get started, before we hop into everything, make sure you're following us on all social medias: Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. We have a Discord. Let's get nuts, folks. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. But what do you say, Todd? Hop into Holonet Headlines?
Okay, I know I said it last week, really short news week. It's another short news week, which honestly, I'm not going to complain. I feel like we're being very well fed by Lucasfilm right now as far as content goes. So not a whole lot of news isn't an issue for me. So the big news this week is that we got some Star Wars gaming news. EA and Lucasfilm Games announced that there's 3 new Star Wars titles that are in development. The 3 games are going to be handled by Respawn Entertainment, which for Star Wars, they were the ones that did Jedi Fallen Order, knocked it out of the park. It's a great game. Love that game. So the next, the 3 games that they hinted at, they didn't really go into too much detail, but they did say that one of the games is going to be the next installment in the Star Wars Jedi story. So it's really interesting because I think a lot of people are assuming this is going to be a direct sequel to Jedi Fallen Order based off of how that game ended and kind of the, not cliffhanger, but almost like a little pause that they put in the story where it could easily be continued on. Mm-hmm. But they haven't really said like the Jedi Fallen Order sequel or Jedi Fallen Order 2. It's the next installment in the Star Wars Jedi story.
I thought that was a very interesting way to put it because they could have absolutely just said Fallen Order 2.
Yeah.
So it could be literally anything. What if it's like a Force Unleashed 3?
It could be. I mean, I feel like it would be weird to take a pause on Jedi Fallen Order story because we were really kind of getting to know Cal in the first game, and this would be sort of a continuation of his story. So I don't know if they're going to do like Jedi Fallen Order and then Star Wars Jedi Rising Phoenix and then Star Wars Jedi. Like it's still the same story, but instead of doing like Fallen Order 1, Fallen Order 2, Fallen Order 3, they just go with like a different name, almost like Thrawn Ascendancy, Thrawn, all the Thrawn stuff kind of stuff with the books.
I don't know. Very strange what they're doing with this one.
I'll be interested. I'm curious to see. I think we'll probably get more about this during EA Play and some of the EA focused, not cons, but like announcements and everything they do over the summer. But we'll probably get something about this at Celebration. That would make sense to me to do like a teaser, or maybe like a teaser on May 4th, and then like a gameplay trailer reveal at Celebration, and then something else at EA Play.
What'll be 4 months tomorrow?
I think so. Yeah, 4-ish months. Still no update on tickets, which is, lovely. Love that for me. Love that for us. We're thriving. Yeah. So, but that's the first game. The second game is a first-person shooter. That's it. I just said first-person shooter. They didn't say what it would be. I think one of the developers or one of the people overseeing this worked on the original Battlefront 2 game. Not the EA one, but the one that came out back in like 2005, I think.
Yep.
So that's interesting. They would bring in someone like that. I don't think this would be a sequel to Battlefront 2, like Battlefront 3, because I want to say that was EA Dice.
Yep.
So what do you think this could be? Do you think it would be? I would be interested to see if they do like a Republic Commando almost.
I think what they're gonna what I would do if I was in the position, aside from just like straight up Battlefront 3, I would do, I don't know what I would name it, but I would take the conquest mode from the original Battlefront 2, because that was the funnest mode. I think anyone will tell you that, and make that an entire game, an online game. Because I don't think they're going to make this next game have a story mode, because Battlefront 2015 did not have a story mode. It was all online. Battlefront 2 2017 had a story mode and then online. I think this one, because they're doing the Jedi sequel, whatever the hell they called it, to do another story mode, you know what I mean? I just feel like this next one's going to be all online multiplayer.
I would hesitate to say it would be an all online multiplayer game. Like, I know those are popular. However, I think because there was so much backlash with the first EA Battlefront game, that they would have some degree of story, even if it's just a short little, because the Battlefront 2 campaign wasn't that long.
Yeah, I think it was like 3 hours.
Yeah, maybe. It was a really quick campaign. So I could see them doing something similar. I would love to see like a Republic Commando game, but updated with like the Bad Batch, or like an Imperial Special Forces kind of game.
I mean, the Mandalorian could be
I was just about to say Mandalorian.
That could be the first-person shooter.
I don't know if they would do the Mandalorian, though, because I know my hope is always, especially since anytime we see anything from Star Wars 1313, which new footage from that came out. For those who aren't familiar, Star Wars 1313 was like the last game that Lucasfilm, or it was LucasArts. Yeah, LucasArts was doing before Disney bought Star Wars and kind of closed up their video game development studio. I think that would be something like that would be better for a Mandalorian style game. Like, you could basically take what that game was going to be and just reskin it with Din Djarin, and it would sell like crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would like to see maybe a Republic Commando. What about you, Mari? What first person shooter would you like to see kind of set in?
Honestly, like, Mandalorian is exactly where my brain went when they brought it up. I was like, first person, like, I would love to see a Mandalorian, like, just straight storyline that's them. I mean, doing what they do best is annihilating. So, and immersing you more into their world. So,
how about a Star Wars version of Fall Guys where it's Jawas and Ewoks?
BP, please.
Yeah, Jawas and Ewoks and Porgs and just like all the small, like the little droids, the BD droids, the Lep droid, just like a
Mouse
whole
droid.
Yeah, all the crazy like little Star Wars tiny. It's just called like Star Wars tiny things.
Yeah,
that would actually be a lot of fun.
That would be.
I would play it. It's like just mindless like entertainment, and they all make like fun. Like the Jawa, if they fall, they'd be like Utini. Last game that was announced with like asterisks around it, because again, not really a whole lot of details, is that there's going to be a strategy game developed. This is going to be developed through a collaboration between Respawn and Bit Reactor. So Respawn will be like the producer, and Bit Reactor is going to handle all the development. So it's like Bit Reactor is doing the work, and Respawn's just like, all right, this is ours. Slap our name on it. Thank you for your work. Bit Reactor, for those who aren't familiar, are the ones who did the XCOM series, which is kind of I feel like it's like an RTS, like a real-time strategy kind of game, where it's you basically build up like forces and go and fight other stuff, and it's from like an over-the-top camera angle. When I saw this immediately made me think of the game Empire at War, which is an older Star Wars game where you would, similar idea, you would like go from planet to planet and build up your forces and destroy, like if you're playing as the Empire, destroy the rebels, or if you're playing the rebels, try and beat the Empire, and each side had different special abilities and technology and stuff like that. So I would love to see something like that. I'm a sucker for these RTS kind of games. I've put way too many hours into like Civilization and games like that. So if we get something like that, I'm going to be drowning in hours lost towards that game.
I tried like League of Legends, and I just like I couldn't get through it.
This would be, I think, a little slower. Like League of Legends is more like you got to actively like be engaged with everything. Whereas StarCraft, I think, would be that's probably a little more similar to what this could be. I'm just excited that we're getting some variety in Star Wars games. I mean, really, prior to this, we had Jedi Fallen Order, which was the only story-driven Star Wars game that we had gotten under the EA era. We had the 2 Battlefront games, and then the VR stuff, really. Squadrons, yeah. But again, that's more like a Battlefront. I feel like an offshoot of Battlefront. So
yeah,
what could have been or what should have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the last little bit of news is that, and this is more like a speculation news, not really news, but Anthony Daniels posted a little Instagram post of him in a new mocap suit. So he's back doing some work. Of course, he could be doing something completely unrelated to Star Wars. However, I find that wildly not believable because I don't think that man would do anything other than, be 3PO. So this could be a multitude of things. I think, and I've seen this kind of floating around rumor wise, that he could be doing work on the announced animated movie, Star Wars: A Droid Story. So that was announced, I think, back in December, I want to say, when Disney announced like a whole slew of new Star Wars projects coming out. One of these was Star Wars: A Droid Story, which would feature a new character that's guided by R2 and 3PO. So that would make sense. Throw him in a mocap suit, really kind of capture the C-3PO elements without needing him in the suit. But could be that. Could be another VR game. I don't know if he's popped up in any of the VR games, but could be something like that. What do you guys think? You think?
I don't know what we could expect to see him. I mean, it'd be pretty neat for them to start incorporating him into all the little shows, because there's that little trivia that was like, what are the characters that have appeared in every Star Wars property or whatever? And 3PO is one of them, and he hasn't made it into Boba Fett or anything like that. So it'd be neat for them to start incorporating him into other shows, but I don't see that happening. I think the animated movie is the most likely spot in that.
It's either that or I would think something to do with these 3 video game properties they just announced.
That could maybe like the only like the timing of it all. It's like, oh, these games were announced, and oh, now Anthony Daniels is posting. Like, I don't feel like he would post that he's like in a new mocap suit for something that has been announced but hasn't really like been announced that it's under active production.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Last little bit of news is that we got some new character posters for the Book of Boba Fett. So they do these every week after every episode. It's always interesting to see who they pick. So this week and spoilers if you haven't seen the Book of Boba Fett yet, so close your ears, run away, hide. The characters that they showed for chapter 5 were Din Djarin, our boy, in all his shiny glory with the dark saber, looking real crisp, real nice. I got a little excited when I saw that. I was like, okay, we can let this happen.
How do I get this printed?
How can it was like 9 a.m. or something. I was like, how can you post something so spicy so early in the morning? And then we had the armor, which again looking great. BP and me met Emily Swallow at Rhode Island, which who would have thought? Like I was like, I went up and I was like, oh, like it'd be great to see your story continue. Like I'd love to see you in future Mando. And of course she's like, oh yeah, we'll see what happens. It's like I'm on to you.
Speaking of Emily Swallow and Katie Sackhoff, did you see their Twitter exchange?
Yeah.
So and then Sam Witwer came in at the end.
What? I didn't see that. You have to send me that.
So it was Katie said something about how the armor was basically throwing shade at her in the episode. So Katie was like saying the quote, and then the armor quote tweeted that, like making fun of her, and then Sam Witwer quote tweeted that, talking trash on everybody.
He said, yeah. He said, yeah, says the lady still wearing horns on her helmet. Mad respect.
Oh, that's why somebody posted maybe another Mandalorian on a picture of her. I was like,
and he hashtagged it Mandalorian.
Yeah. Oh,
I think the armor is probably Rook Cast or one of the other Mandalorians from the Siege, because it's someone who has history with Bo-Katan. So
yeah, I said it on this show many episodes ago that she is a Maul zealot.
It would make sense. especially if they all got exiled to off Mandalore after the whole Siege of Mandalore and all the fallout of that. So
Yeah.
And then the last character poster was Pelimato, the woman who has more droids than I think we all know what to do with.
And likes Jawas.
Can't get that out of my head.
Little furry.
Can't get it out of my head.
Her and Black Chrysanthemum, though, do you think, like...
Speaking of Black Chrysanthemum, do you know what I want more than anything in the world right now?
A Black Chrysanthemum?
It is, spoilers, Boba Fett. If you haven't seen it, don't listen. Din's new ship, his N1 Starfighter, she cleaned out the R2 section, but not for Grogu. Black hair just stuffed in there.
Not even stuffed in there, just like his just his feet in, and like the rest of him spilling over the top. I would pay money for that.
That would be awesome.
She's like the General Grievous of droids, though. Like I feel like every time we see her, she's like another fine droid to add to my collection. Like, you're nuts. Like, I'm on to you, Pelly.
I love her don't ask, don't tell policy with the Jawas too. When they find stuff she needs.
Yeah.
Do you really want to know?
I just realized, but the long thing that they brought for Din, I forget what exactly.
The combustion thingy.
Yeah, the long tube, but that's what was in the trash compactor in A New Hope.
Yeah, that was all over Twitter today.
Completely ignored that, like just right over my head until someone pointed it out. I was like,
"Oh man,
I love it! I love it." It's
my favorite movie. As soon as I saw that, I was the Leo meme going.
Right there. That was that whole episode. I'm excited for this week's episode. It's going to be our boy Dave Filoni back in the driver's seat, so we'll see who he pulls in.
Everybody.
I'm so excited.
The muscle.
That's going to wrap up the news. So I'm going to toss it back to you, BP, for the cargo hold.
As always.
The Cargo Hold segment is brought to you by Skyward Fun Supply. Skyward Fun Supply was born from a love of two things: Star Wars and the hobby of figure and toy collecting. They are a company that truly knows how fun the hobby of action figure and toy collecting is, because they are collectors too, with over 30 years of experience in the hobby. Every item from Skyward Fun Supply is guaranteed to be in mint condition. Head over to www.skywardfunsupply.com and use code BSP10 to save 10%.
10%.
Read on that. I always every time I hear it.
I know.
Like, oh, yeah, we're vibing to this. This is great.
Yeah, it's a banger. It's a banger. All right, cargo hold. So before we get into the toy news, we generally say what we got the previous week. So I guess we'll start with Mari tonight.
Okay. Well, one of them is right behind me. I managed to get 3 of these.
Wow.
And they're just giant Empire logo flags. So
you're just gonna hang those outside your house now and wonder, get your crazy neighbors to come by and be like,
oh my gosh. I wonder, I don't know if I have, I don't think the house that I'm renting has a flag holster thingy. So
just install one, make your own, fly
like,
that Imperial Pride.
Hey, do they have a command hook version of that, so don't cause damage?
They probably do. Or you could just mount it in the ground or something, stick it out front.
That's true. Yeah,
or put one on your car like Gravedigger.
Oh my gosh. Just drive, all I'd hear is
you're blasting the Imperial March.
There's that guy that drives that big H1 with all and he has all that. Yeah, I should just give him one of these. He might have one. I don't know.
That is the Teresa Jacobs Foundation, the Star Wars rides. Check them out, folks. Give them a Google. Yeah. Good guys over there.
Yeah. What else did I get? I wrote that twice. I don't know why. I think I meant shirts, but they're not necessarily for me.
Ooh.
They're for our listeners and viewers. They're
we're gonna
old.
We're gonna have some giveaways here, folks, and for the podcast listeners, Miss Mari found just a satchel full of Star Wars: The Last Jedi shirts. So we are going to do some giveaways on the pod, on the YouTube channel, TikTok, Twitter,
there's a lot of them. So
It'll be like
Lots
the
of
Oprah of the shirts. Like you get a shirt and you get a shirt.
And then last but not least, I don't know. I don't think I ever showed you guys these because I said that I had something cool to show you and then I never did. But I have a bunch of these.
Oh, that's cool. I don't know what it is, but I want it.
They are Star Wars medallions or like medals, and they each have. So this is a little harder to see.
What's the black one? Oh God, I need it.
A Death Trooper? Oh, that is that Death Trooper. That's pretty cool. Oh, Norse Legion. That's
Yep.
Oh, they're at Celebration usually. I think they're one of the ones that do like all the crazy props and stuff. Yeah, TIE Bomber pilot.
That was cool too.
Do you have anything with Mandalorians on it?
Oh,
Snow Trooper?
No, they're all.
Are they all troopers? I mean, that would
they're
make
all
sense.
troopers and Vader.
Mhm.
So, and they each have like a different name. Like it's all from different battles. So there's Vader.
That's cool.
This one is the Endor Scout.
Nope, go up. There you go. Oh, that's good too.
And the last one is the Tantive Assault Valor Medal.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Oh,
so
that's cool.
they're all basically original trilogy and then Rogue One.
Yep, yeah. So my good friend Kurt got these for me from a convention that he was at. A friend of his, Mucky Chris, who does like a bunch of 3D printing, had these at his table, and my camera does not want to focus now that I've just all right. Oh, okay, fine. I don't want to be in focus anyway. But yes. So I've had those for a while. I just hadn't gotten to show you guys, and now I finally remembered. So
Nice. I guess I'll go next. So I picked up a couple things. One of them I was stunned. Like I passed out on the floor when I saw it. So I was at Target, and of course I check out the Target toy aisle just to see if they have anything, which normally it's a big heartbreak and I give up like halfway through. So I was with my girlfriend. She was looking at a couple different ones. She's like, do you have this one? I was like, I have that. I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. But she did spot one of these. And for the podcast listeners, it is the Star Wars Droids C-3PO TVC figure. Real nice. They did this for the Lucasfilm 50th. So it's this one, R2, and a Boba Fett. And it comes with this really cool C-3PO coin. So all the figures have like a different coin with the figure on, with the character on them. Really cool little nod to the Star Wars Droids show. And I think like if you take him out, I'm leaving him in the package because you know
that card is crisp.
It was like I was stunned. I thought like there had to be something wrong with it, like damage on it or something, a crease. And no, it was like someone had just put that out, and I was like, and I will take you home with me, and we will never speak of this moment ever again, Target. Yeah, real stunned to see that. And I think the actual figure, if you take him out of the package, I'm leaving it in because that's how I like my TVC, or trapped and not able to play with. But I think you can take like the actual armor pieces off of 3PO, like the outer shell, and it's like an inner 3PO looking figure. So that's cool. Yeah, so excited to get that. Of course, now I have to get the R2 and the Boba Fett one, which will be multiple trips to Target to try and get because the pre-orders are all sold out. So it'll be rolling the dice every day to see if I can try and get one of them.
Try to remember to check mine. I always forget to check I check the Legos, but I don't necessarily check the toys. So I will try to remember to do.
I just do both because you never know what you're gonna. You never know what you're gonna find.
Because I don't really like collect those, but like that's selfish of me. Like I know you guys do. So.
No, don't worry. Don't waste your time. I already know it's gonna be heartbreak whenever you go there. So, so I got that. I got a retro collection. Din Djarin pre-Beskar Mandalorian figure. So this is courtesy of Skyward Fun Supply. These are really cool because they're in that original 1970s Kenner style. So they look like the original Kenner Star Wars figures. I stayed away from these for the longest time because I didn't want to add another thing to my collection. But I've recently like really been like itching to just start collecting old Kenner figures. And now I'm like, God, this is bad. So got that guy.
It's my favorite line. It's my favorite line. I'm not gonna lie.
Is it because it's a nod to just the original Kenners? Which
I love the packaging, everything about it.
the original Kenner figure, there's something to be said about, especially like as the new figures keep getting more and more expensive with less accessories and everything. There is something to be said about just that original older Kenner, simple, like comes with a couple weapons and a couple accessories maybe, and just the figure itself.
Are you going to take a hairdryer and remove the retro sticker?
No, because I think I've got the prototype ones and I keep the retro sticker on them. So I figure I just keep them on. That way it all looks fine. And it's the same card back as the TVC pre-best card din, and that doesn't have a sticker on it. So I've already got that one.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't bug me too much. I know you don't like the retro sticker though, so you got to rip those off. What else did I get? I pre-ordered the nightmare pre-order that this was the Boba Fett Morak TVC Target exclusive figure, which went up at the time it was supposed to go up. I think it was 1 p.m. Immediately was gone, like within 5 seconds. Everybody thought like this was the worst pre-order experience that Hasbro's ever done with Target. And then it went up again an hour later. So I think they just put the wrong date, like the wrong time in the press release. The price was wrong on the original. Like the whole rollout of this was kind of a mess. Like the original press release came out at like real late in the night the day before. It came out with the wrong price. It came out with the wrong details. So yeah, this whole thing was a mess. But I got one because I hate myself and I have to get. I always am like, God, I'm done with Hasbro. I'm done with these exclusives, and then I put up with it anyway. There's more exclusives dropping tomorrow, which we'll talk about later, that I already hate myself for. So, and then the last thing I got was, so there's a shirt company. It's called Roosevelt. It's RSVLTS. And they do these shirts that are, they work with a bunch of different properties. So they've got like The Office and Sandlot and just a whole plethora of stuff. But they have a bunch of Star Wars shirts that they've dropped over the years. And they did a new drop for the Book of Boba Fett. And one of those is called Rebirth that I got. And it is like all of the Boba Fett scenes from what we saw in Mando. So it's got like the throne scene, and it's got him on Tython with Fennec, and it's got him in his robes, like just all over it. Real cool looking. I'll probably wear it the near future for some Star Wars content. So for anybody that watches on YouTube, any I'll probably wear it actually for Wednesday's Boba's Bounty recap. So TikTok, YouTube, you'll probably get a glimpse of that first before everybody else. So, and that's it. I think that's it. I think that's I feel like that's all I got this week, but I also feel like it's not. Oh, it's not, because it's not all I got this week, because I also went to Costco and picked up the puzzle, the 3D puzzle. I think I got the Slave One, Boba Fett Starship, and the Light Cruiser pack. Originally, I was gonna get both of them. I was like, oh, $25 for each of them. I don't think I need that much. I don't think I really want to spend $50 on puzzles.
I would. I love puzzles.
I like puzzles, but I with everything else that has my just assaulting my wallet, I need to
That's fair.
Pick and choose on occasion. So
That's fair.
Draw a line somewhere, right?
Have some restraint. It's like that scene in Clone Wars where Maul's like, have mercy, and Palpatine's like, there is no mercy, and just me to my wallet every other day. All right, BP, what did you pick up?
I feel like there's something I'm forgetting, but the two things I got, we can unbox together. So I did something I don't usually do, and I bought from not Skyward Fun Supply. I went on Amazon, searched for something, and they were $5 and $6 each, so I couldn't pass them up, and that was with free shipping. So I have not opened these. There's no packaging inside whatsoever.
Absolutely destroyed. This is why anything we open not from Skyward is like, I assume it's just gonna be broken.
So there's no packaging whatsoever, but I got Grief Karga. It's a little wonky,
little funky.
Got a big ding right here.
Yeah, that's definitely not a mint on card. This is a good example for the people who like rely on Amazon and stuff for their Star Wars figures. Like if you're tired of beat to snot cards, then Skyward's your company.
So this one's a little bent, but not something I can't fix. But the bubble is falling off, so this might be an opener. I got Moff Gideon retro. But the bubble is
The bubble is separating. Yeah. I can't, ever since I started ordering from Skyward for all my collectibles, man, I can't go back if it's something I want on card.
And they put a big sticker on the back of it.
Yeah. I'm sure the other one's got one too.
Yeah.
Yep.
It sure does. And
Double opener?
Doesn't have anything to do with Star Wars or this figure. So anyway, buy from Skyward Fun Supply, not Amazon. So those will be openers. I think that's all I got that I can think of off the top of my head. I think I pre-ordered something, but I feel like that happens once a week.
I'm terrified to check my pre-order list, honestly, sometimes, because I'm like, there's probably a solid like 10 to 15 figures that I have on pre-order in one way or another.
I'm more worried about the large ticket items, i.e. sideshow helmets. If I don't look, they're not real, right?
Yeah, I keep, every day I get an email from Sideshow and I'm like, I should just delete this, but let me see what they're talking about real quick. And I'm like, oh no, what am I doing?
My favorite's when all the charges start to hit at once and you're like, oh, I have a problem.
Pre-ordering Ahsoka and Maul at the same, like they're both coming out at the same time. That was beautiful on my bank account.
double payment plan hitting at once.
Yep.
Well, I mean, Sideshow's nice because you can at least do the payment plan option, but also it's like they only let you do it like 4 months or 5 months, so you're still paying like $50 each payment. It's like, oof, this hurts.
My Darth Maul is Darth Vader is quite higher than that.
Oh yeah, no, that's a big boy, thick mythos. That's probably a very sad day.
I'll be like, guys, I'm broke. Please don't post any cool stuff in this chat.
And again, I'm going to be like Darth or like Palpatine, and just there is no mercy, just unleashing on the chat. I'm just going to like keep a stockpile of Maul figures and stuff that I know you'll want. And as soon as those Sideshow mythos payments start hitting, I'm just going to like flood the chat with them.
The real villain here. The real villain.
Ahsoka, the Ahsoka and the Maul have been delayed, and this latest one says February or March. I'm really hoping it's February.
Maul is March to May.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, Ahsoka's March or February to March, so I'm hoping February. But yeah, so let's get into the toy news. Starting off, first and foremost, Hasbro is raising their prices once more, citing pandemic issues.
It makes sense. I mean, everything's going up. The cost of business is going up, so they're obviously going to pass that on to consumers. But man, it hurts, especially with some of the recent figures that they've been announcing, like the deluxe figures that have like 2 accessories, and it's like a $35 figure. It's like this. I don't know how I feel about this. Or like TVC figures going up. I think the most recent Boba Fett TVC that I pre-ordered was like $20-something. TVC are normally like 12 to 15, maybe. I think they usually are around $15, but yeah,
I don't know who needs to hear this at Hasbro, but a blaster and the character's helmet are not additional accessories warranting a deluxe. No. So if someone at Hasbro could just cool the jets a little bit.
Well, they're just throwing the deluxe. I feel like it's just because it's Boba Fett too, because everything that's been deluxe recently has been like Boba Fett or Boba Fett adjacent, because you've had all the Boba Fett Black Series deluxe figures, and then you had Cobb Vanth, who got slapped with the deluxe because he's got Boba Fett stuff.
Wrecker's a deluxe, and the only he it's his backpack that he is a part of him, and his helmet and his blaster.
Is he bigger though than the other ones, or is he the same size?
I think if he's bigger, he's wider.
Okay. I mean, I could see maybe that as their justification, but yeah, it's hard to kind of back the reasoning behind some of these deluxes when they don't feel like deluxe.
Yeah, honestly, I know why, and I understand why prices are being raised. But if I'm going to spend money on Star Wars stuff, I'm going to not spend $25, $30, $35 for a Black Series when I can buy a Sideshow for $225 and it like quality over quantity type of deal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, if they're only going to start releasing like just deluxes left and right, I mean, that's $30 each deluxe. That really adds up. at what point is it worth it to kind of, it's almost like a rat race with some of the Black, like, of course I'm in it because I only collect the Black Series Mando figures and Book of Boba Fett now. So since I've started that, it's like I got to keep. It feels like there's no way off of this, so it's like you're stuck.
Yeah, that I can't, like, the 3 3/4 is my favorite line. That's what got me into Star Wars collecting, but I can't pay $20 for one. I just won't.
We'll see. I mean, if enough people, which I'm sure people, like, obviously I was willing to pay it. If enough collectors are willing to pay it, then they'll keep doing it. But it would be interesting. It would be interesting to see if at some point, like, obviously people aren't afraid of saying no to Hasbro. The Black Series Rancor HasLab project didn't get fulfilled, didn't get funded. So I don't know. We'll see what this does and how it hits. I've seen people talk about like leaving the collecting community though, like people that have been longtime collectors that are. I mean, you're an example of it. I know some other guys have said they're reevaluating how they're going to collect in light of this news. So it'll be interesting to see what this has long run on the Star Wars collecting community.
It's not just the prices being raised too. It's like it's stuff that doesn't come out for a year or more. Or stuff that's like that's hot or happening right now. There's no figures for another year,
or later. I mean, there's some of the stuff.
Muted that.
Yeah, some of the stuff is into 2023 now. That's being announced. So.
I feel like we talked about this last week, but Marvel is putting stuff out for shows and TV and movies that are out or coming out. Like what's happening with Star Wars that they can't do that?
Yeah, I think we hit that like hard last week.
Yeah, it's so frustrating because I love this. I love collecting, but they're like single-handedly like pushing me out of it. Like, anywho, speaking of Hot Toys. 2 new Hot Toys were announced. 1/6 scale, Casca Reeves and Axe Wolves. I gotta tell you, Axe Wolves might be the coolest fucking name ever.
Yeah.
They don't come out for like a year and a half, 2 years, so you could pre-order them now, or just wait for 3 years and order it then. There's a new line, and I'm pretty sure they're Disney exclusives. So they're called Power Force, not Power of the Force, Power Force. And they are 9-inch figures. Right now there's 2. There's Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, or a TK Imperial trooper. It's a captain, I think. They're 13 points of articulation. Din does come with Grogu, who has 3 points of articulation. They are motion activated from lights and sounds.
Ooh.
They have character phrases, and Den has a removable satchel and jetpack. And the trooper has a removable pauldron, so the orange shoulder piece.
Gotcha.
I kind of have this figure already. So last year they did this exact Den figure, but 14 inches. And it was a Disney exclusive. It was up and down like that, but I got one. They're okay.
It's a different.
Not right home to mom about it, but
I feel like that's more focused probably towards kids.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. The blasters both have huge orange tips on them, even though they're attached to the character. So yeah, definitely kid driven. And I want to say they were $30 each. Speaking of high prices, Black Series announced some new stuff. They announced the Titan Boba Fett from the Jedi Ruins. Oh boy, Walmart exclusive. Tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, you can give her a shot. Pre-order.
So
that'll be there.
By the time people are listening to this, it's probably already, because this will come out Wednesday. Yep. So you'll be a day late to try and pre-order this, because I'm guaranteeing this will sell out immediately and it's going to be painful. And if you would like to watch me rage about Hasbro tomorrow, feel free to check out the Twitter account, because I will likely be very vocal about this pre-order experience if it goes anything like the last couple Walmart ones have.
So again, this is a 6-inch Black Series, and it is $32.
Yeah, and it doesn't even ship until February of 2023. This is a Mandalorian season 2, which came out last year, figure coming out next year. I don't understand.
We should be hearing when season 3 of Mando is going to start.
I was going to say, like, Boba Fett could very well be like, we could be on like season 2 of Book of Boba or something, and this figure will be like inching across the finish line. Like, it's just it drives me nuts. It's so hard to. It's just hard to wrap your mind around like the logic, because they would sell so many more toys if stuff was out to go with the shows.
Yeah,
like you like not just from not just the collectors aspect, but like kids. Like I remember being a kid and walking into like Toys R Us or a Walmart or something, and like whole sections of the store were just Star Wars toys. Like whole back walls were just covered in toys and figures, and it wasn't. It makes me miss those days. And everybody, like, whenever stuff like these exclusives or the empty shelves come up, people are like, I long for the days of young.
KB Toys for me.
Yeah, man.
Yak Face rumor coming at you for Black Series. 13 new Black Series to be announced soon. So at this rate that they're releasing in figures, I'm going to assume these 13 are going to be for Last Jedi. Rise of Skywalker, Clone Wars Season 7, maybe a couple Return of the Jedi. But we don't know what they are. Just Yak Face has said 13 new, and I don't remember time Yak Face has been incorrect. So 13
I'm sure it'll probably be some of the pipeline ones that we've had revealed earlier last year. I'm sure some of those are part of these 13 rumored figures. But yeah, we talked about this in last week's episode, but there was like 75 Black Series figures that were released last year. So it's weird. It's a weird time when you have such a disconnect between when figures are coming out, but still almost like 100 figures coming out.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah. I don't get it.
Over the past year, I think I've seen like 4 or 5 of these figures in person, like in a store.
It shouldn't be like a cause for celebration when you're actually able to find a new figure in the store. Like that's just a weird concept.
Oh, anyway, Hasbro and Star Wars renewed their contract. Just an FYI.
That contract will never expire.
No.
They've been doing this together forever. So
yeah. TVC news. Can you believe it? A Boba Fett figure. Unfortunately, another Target exclusive. This is Boba Fett in the Morak. Which
this is the one I pre-ordered.
What's the costume? Is it the all black underneath with the robe?
Yes. So this is so Morak was the prison planet when they went and rescued Bill Burr's character. So it's that re-armored look that Boba Fett had.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's that re-armored Boba look. So not quite the Book of Boba Fett. That's slightly different, which I don't want to derail us again on my rants about those, but yeah, this is that re-armored Boba look that we saw.
Well, that's it for TVC. Fig pins. I'm really digging fig pins. I am fighting the itch so hard to not purchase like every single one I can find. I have one, and it's Rogue from X-Men animated series. So they announced a Dark Trooper from Mando Season 2, Luke Skywalker, Din, and Grogu from Mando Season 2. If you don't know what fig pins are, they're, 3-4 inches pins, like lapel pins? Well, not lapel. I'll show my age there a bit.
They're almost like it's not like an action figure pin, but it's more like a full-size character. Like they're probably a good...
Yeah, I think the box ends up being like this big. I have my Maul, but I think he's in. I
don't know if
Halo
you can see. I think I have one for the YouTube watchers somewhere.
It's right
around. Yeah, it's right there. It's right next to the
blue helmet.
Right
so
there.
It's about 5 inches. It's a little taller than a Funko.
Yeah.
They're super detailed. They're super colorful. Walmart has exclusives of like just full-on chrome versions of Star Wars characters, and they also there's a double XL fig pin that is like this big. They are awesome. They're really hard to find, but they are awesome.
Would you like a pin that takes up your whole chest? Absolutely, yes.
You're talking. Oh, didn't I show you guys the Darth Maul one that I got?
I didn't know.
It essentially looks like a Funko.
Yeah, I think.
Oh
so.
Yeah. That
was last week. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, is it Funko?
No, a fig pin I don't believe are Funko.
Oh, okay.
So your Darth Maul pin is Funko. It looks like a Funko Pop. It's got the Funko Pop head.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And the fig pins are like miniature cardboard standouts. Essentially, is what I think of them in my.
I wasn't sure if like the XL ones they kind of
they're just
huge.
No, it's just like a bigger version of their regular character pins.
Yeah, they weigh a solid 5 pounds. This past weekend, I believe was London Toy Fair. The world's so messed up. Like New York Toy Fair was canceled. London Toy Fair, I think, was much smaller than usual. But Funko announced some things. So if you're into Funko Pops, buckle up, baby. Valentine's Day themed Funko Pops coming at you just fast and hard. You know what I mean? So revealed at London Toy Fair, Darth Vader, a TK Trooper, Chewie, and Yoda in a single pack. They're all pink, light pink. So there's no actual character color. They're just full on Valentine's Day. These are only available in UK, France, and Germany. So our international listeners, you're up, baby. Next up is a Funko.com exclusive, and that is a Valentine's Day themed Bo-Katan. Might order that one.
I've never been a fan. Like, obviously, I've tried to step away from collecting Funkos because I have a closet full of them that just don't see the light of day now. But these, I've never been a huge fan of these because they're just regular Funkos that they repaint.
Yeah.
So
beautiful. Speaking of repainted Funko Pops, they also announced Make-A-Wish themed Pops that are light blue and dark blue. BB-8, a Stormtrooper. It's a TK GameStop exclusive. These will go on sale online in stores April 4th of this year, supposedly. Regardless of the sales from the Make-A-Wish Pops, Funko is donating $150,000 to Make-A-Wish. So on top of sales, they're throwing that money on there too. So if you want to do some charity work and collect Funko Pops, there you go.
Okay, I might get one of these just to support a guy. As I just said, I'm not collecting any more Funkos. It's like, well, they kind of got me with the
I
charity.
won't buy myself any more Funkos. I'll buy this one.
BB-8 is a member of the Black Squadron.
So it's justified. It's a business purchase.
It's a business purchase. We can write that off. And before we segue into our main topic, which is Star Wars Legos, there was some new Star Wars Legos announced. First off, there was more helmets. The Din Djarin, the Mandalorian helmet, which is very studdy.
It looks like the Boba Fett helmet, just without the rangefinder and all that jazz.
Yeah. And in my opinion, this is the worst one I've ever seen. The Luke Skywalker Red 5 helmet. It just does not translate to this format, in my opinion.
I think I saw, I don't think this was an official image, but I saw one version of this initially, and it had like Luke's face. So I'm glad they didn't go with that one because that was really rough.
So creepy.
It was like creepy eye, and it just didn't work. But my issue with this is it almost looks like the helmet, like the not the crown of the helmet, but the front of the helmet looks like it's too far back.
Yeah.
Like the mohawk almost seems like it's too far back. So the whole helmet just seems kind of like short in the front. And the goggles look like they're weird. It just,
it's almost like they didn't finish the build in the promo picture because it looks like they stopped. Like it should have gone to here, but they stopped here. When I first saw it, I thought it was like a fan, like someone made it from spare Legos, but no, it's it'd be real.
It might look better in person. That's my hope. Is like, you know, maybe once you actually see it and the pictures just don't do it justice, kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Photographing toys is hard. And sometimes you just fail at it. Like I collect AEW figures, All Elite Wrestling, and they'll show new figures, and they look like garbage. When you get them in your hand, they look incredible. So figure photography is a real pain in the ass for a lot of these companies, and this might be a victim of that. So we'll find out. And then lastly, before we get into our main topic this evening, just announced ish.
I think these. So yeah, this set was probably right before we started recording. I saw pictures of this, like the official pictures, even though they weren't officially released. It was like an official release on a German toy company website.
Yeah, of the three of us, I'm probably the least of a fan of Legos, but I'm buying this. It is the Luke Skywalker with 3 Dark Troopers in the hallway from The Mandalorian season 2. Look at that.
For the YouTube listeners, you get to, or watchers, you get to actually see what it looks like. But oof, that's a crisp looking set.
Yeah,
it looks good. The Dark Troopers really translate in Lego.
It's nice because you could only get these Dark Troopers originally with the Imperial Light Cruiser set, the Moff Gideon set, which I have that set. So now I'm going to have 4 of these, which I'm even more excited about, which I have, of course.
I love the box. The box art looks great with the Lego Den and Grogu with the what is that, copper stripe? I don't know what the color that is.
Yeah, this is real nice. And I love that we're getting it's a new Luke with new torso and leg printing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So, that set looks phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm glad because originally I think when this was first like rumored, and this was like heavily rumored that we were getting this, it was not a Build-A-Figure pack, but like those smaller packs that come with like the Mandalorian pack that we got, or the 501st one, like just a couple of figures and that's it. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad they actually decided to make this into a scene rather than just here's a couple minifigures, have fun.
I love that they included the hallway piece. Like I'm such a sucker for Star Wars hallways and doors. Like no joke, and this could be embarrassing for someone that wasn't us. But when I went to Galaxy's Edge, I literally stared at one of the Star Wars doors that opened and closed for like a good 5 minutes. I was like, this is incredible. Why is no one else watching this? This is great.
This door is just sliding. It's magical.
It was one of the doors that like open and close like this.
Oh yeah, that's pretty nice.
I was like, oh my God.
Just stick your hand in and out of it. Like, oh.
You may fire when ready. All right, kids, let's get into Star Wars Legos. My God, there are so many.
There's a lot. Yeah, so we'll talk a little bit about kind of a brief history of Lego Star Wars. So originally I thought Lego Star Wars started in 1999, but you actually have to go back a year. In 1998 is when they signed this whole licensing agreement between Lucasfilm and the Lego Group. And this was really the first agreement of its kind for the Lego Group. Really, it's kind of funny when you think, this is right before the prequel era, episode 1, all of that, when this agreement was signed. So when you look back at that and how George was pushing the envelope forward with technology as far as the prequels go, kind of doing the same thing with toys, which he has a history of doing. I mean, that's why you look at the original trilogy and the toys around that. It's kind of like, it always seemed like George was one step ahead of everything when it came to merchandising and marketing of his movies. So 1998 is when they signed this. 1999 is when it officially launched at International Toy Fair in New York. And the X-Wing was the first set to come out. And it's interesting looking at this original set. Obviously much different than the sets that we've got nowadays. It says Lego System instead of just Lego. How many pieces do you think this set was?
600.
No, way less.
Really?
150?
No, it's 263.
Okay.
Wow.
Which is, it's crazy to think about, because I think about the sets nowadays and they're like 200 and 250 is on the lower end for a set. So to have a whole X-Wing in 263 pieces is just crazy. It is funny that they picked sort of an iconic ship, the X-Wing fighter, to really be like, all right, we're here. Here's Legos. Have fun.
Is that Red 5 or is it just a generic X-Wing?
I think it's the Luke Red 5. It doesn't say Red 5. It just says X-Wing fighter on it. But
just in case it was bad.
Yeah, we don't want to throw Luke's name on this. But this first group that they released in the first part of 1999 was all original trilogy. So it was the X-Wing fighter, B-Wing, Snowspeeder, TIE Advance, Y-Wing, all the kind of the more iconic ships of the original trilogy. 1999 later part rolls around, we get the Phantom Menace, and with the Phantom Menace comes all new looks at Star Wars. They have kind of a new sandbox to play in. So one of the things that we got is a new hairpiece. So it was the first time that Lego had done a new male hairpiece in 20 years. And that's with Qui-Gon Jinn, because he's got that long, luscious Jedi locks with a little bit of a ponytail on the back. It was the first time that we got a specially designed minifigure head with Jar Jar Binks. And we got 13 sets plus a thing called Lego Mindstorms. That was part of this whole release in 1999, kind of centered around the Phantom Menace. So some of my favorites, I had this growing up as a child, was the Naboo Swamp. It was a really simple set. It was just like a blue plate, had a couple like little stalks of vegetation, had two speeders with droids on them, and came with Qui-Gon Jinn and that, like I said, that new hairpiece and a Jar Jar Binks. So you kind of getting the whole new Lego trifecta.
Which non-Star Wars Lego set do you think that giant clam came from?
So it's funny. I'll show a couple other for the YouTube watchers. But they really, for these like sea related ones from the Phantom Menace, leaned into putting like clams and like shells and other just random, I'm sure they had from aquatic sets. So yeah, I had this growing up as a kid. I remember this was one of the first sets that I ever had, was this Naboo Swamp. They did the Gungan sub, that big blue sub that we see in the Phantom Menace, which comes with Jar Jar, Qui-Gon, and Obi-Wan.
I like that one.
That's so not accurate, though.
I like it, though.
Are there 3 pods? They should be in one pod together.
They should be in one, yeah.
Listen, you can't question the actual engineering behind Lego. I love that it's got like a little anchor in the front. Like, that's totally like an anchor from a ship or something that they just repurposed.
There's a clam. I see a clamshell.
And a starfish.
Yep.
I love the box art with the big fish in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an interesting era. I feel like this is again another example of kind of the peak of Star Wars merchandising with the prequel era. It was new, it was exciting, everybody was ready to see what was going to come out of all of this merchandising. So just seeing kind of that late 90s, early 2000s design aesthetic.
It's really interesting that they don't have Phantom Menace stuff on there.
Yeah, there's no reference to the Phantom Menace or anything like that. It's just
I do like that logo though. Top right.
I was just gonna say I'm a big fan of that logo.
That might be on the thumbnail this week.
You do have some nods to the Phantom Menace in the logo that they chose to go with. I mean, it says Star Wars. It's got a young Anakin. It's got Maul, Qui-Gon, Padme, battle droids, Darth Sidious in the background, a Jar Jar. Yeah,
I gotta tell you, for the better part of 25 years, I still hate that system logo with the red block as the T.
Yeah.
It does not look good.
That's awful.
I'm glad they dropped the system and just went with the Lego. And then again, I mentioned that Mindstorm for the YouTube watchers. This is what that looked like. I feel like this was, I didn't look too much into what this was, but I feel like it was sort of their foray into doing robotics meets Lego.
What year is this one?
So this was in 1999 was when this one was released.
What is that date? What's that tablet type thing on the box? Like, this must have been like a Forerunner.
It's real elderly. They only did 2 of these. They did this one and then they did one other one in 2000. But again, I feel like these weren't super popular. It was nowadays. I feel like these would have done really well, but just a little too early for their well-being.
No memory of this set.
Oh, I never saw one of these. The big ones were sort of those prequel era sets that I remember getting all kinds of. And then of course they couldn't just release the prequel era, so we had a combination of prequel era and original trilogy sets that came out. In 2000, we got the first Ultimate Collector series. So I originally thought these came out way later. I thought that these were something that came out, mid 2000s, later 2000s. But the UCS X-Wing, again, going with the X-Wing because you can't knock a good X-Wing fighter. The UCS X-Wing was the first of the Ultimate Collector series, which I feel like those now are just known for being insane, over the top builds.
What year was this was in what a span of 1 year. Look how far they came with the X-wing.
Yeah, well, it's more pieces. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's a bigger set. Those UCS again are geared more towards the collectors. I think this was probably in the 200s. When I was looking at the prices, they were definitely up there. Which $200 for a Lego set in 2000.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of on par with some of the sets that we see now for the UCS line. Real crazy, but it is interesting seeing again so they did this one and then they followed it up with the TIE Interceptor. Real nice though, real nice, good choices. And then they've only gone crazier with the UCS since then. In 2000, we got the first version of the Chewbacca minifigure, which I didn't really think about this because we've seen Chewbacca minifigures so often. But this was actually like a really difficult thing for them to do because they hadn't done something like this before, sort of that furry look. So their solution to this was to make the head have the hair on the front and the back. Yep. So you can see in this minifigure, I mean, it's like a regular Lego minifigure from the neck down, and then the head is where a lot of that Chewbacca detail kind of goes into. Which, again, just looking at those older sets and comparing them to the detail that we have nowadays, like these are just such there's a beauty to the simplicity of early Lego sets.
This one looks like a B-1 battle droid ship they converted to the Falcon.
Yeah, one of those was it Lukirk or Lucinkirk or whatever,
like the disc ones.
Yeah, the big droid command ships.
Yeah. That looks good. The Chewie looks great.
Yeah, a big fan. Oh, and it's funny seeing because they prior to 2003 they hadn't done any like real skin tone Lego, so they all have that fun yellow look to them. that iconic Lego yellow. In 2000 they also dropped. So this was another line that was kind of popular early on, was the Technic line. So I don't know if you all were familiar with this or remember seeing these. But these Lego Technic were very like not modular, but they were like they weren't the Lego brick look. They were very much kind of robotic looking. So they had this one, the pit droid, then they had a battle droid and a destroyer droid, and then they continued that on as the years went on with different iterations of this.
The destroyer droid must have been an absolute bear to build.
Oh yeah, I think I had the Darth Vader Technic, and I just remember getting that as a kid, which as a child, these Technics were not geared towards children at all. So I don't know why my dad got me it as a kid, because it's very like technical and sort of had a lot of moving parts to it. But they were definitely an interesting foray. But you do have the episode 1, the Star Wars episode 1 referencing on that. So that is cool to see kind of the different labels and the different packaging evolve as the line and the different kind of subgenres of Lego kind of took off. And then in 2001, we got Darth Mari's boy, Darth Maul. This is another UCS, which is interesting because we think of UCS now as like ships and sets, but they did a Darth Maul bust. So we had the Darth Maul bust UCS set, which was available exclusively on Lego.com and in Lego stores, was a whopping 43 centimeters tall, which I don't know what that is in US measurements because I don't like centimeters, but probably a couple of inches tall. It's the amount of detail in that's pretty impressive.
16.9.
So that's a pretty decent size bust, and
that's like 1-to-1.
If anyone wants to gift this for me, it's on eBay
for the low price of $1,000.
Shh, Todd, don't.
I have questions about this one. Is this just a victim of a really bad Photoshop mishap? Like, look at the horns. Are the horns glowing?
No,
or did they put a stroke on it?
This is probably just the picture that I pulled off of the internet for it. It's definitely it's interesting though, kind of how they tried to vary what they were putting out in the early days. I mean, this is still early. They'd only been doing Lego Star Wars for 3 years at this point, and they were still kind of doing that combination of prequel era meets the Phantom Menace meets original trilogy. So they would release a couple Phantom Menace sets, and then they release a couple original trilogy. So nice to see some variety, a little variation in what we're getting. In 2002, we start getting into the next iteration of the prequel era. So we get a couple of different minifigures, and these ones are actually interesting because so that you get an Ewok, young Boba Fett, and Yoda minifigures that are all in various sets, and they all have short legs. So it's some of the first Legos to have little tiny itty bitty legs, which I don't know if you've seen some of those early Yoda Lego minifigures, but they're like this, like they're tiny.
They're like the Black Series Grogu tiny.
Yeah, they're not big at all. And then we also got a new line, which was the Lego Minis. These were, really small, really quick to build sets. I think this one only had the TIE Fighter only had 12 parts, 12 pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Like real small, real easy to put together, nothing crazy.
You have to kind of squint to see the TIE Fighter.
Yeah, and these are almost like a early iteration of the eventual Microfighter series that we have now.
You find these now in baggies by the cash register.
Yeah, I think that even then they were still polybag related figures. So we got this. This was another new line, a new set that came out from Lego. 2002, obviously we have Attack of the Clones comes out. So we have sets around Attack of the Clones. One of my favorites that I remember having was the Jedi Starfighter with Daddy Wan Kenobi and his gorgeous long locks, which
look at that hair.
The hairpiece is something to be left desired. I mean, it is.
Wow.
It
looks like Jesus.
He really does look like Lego Space Jesus. And he's got a little, the little like headband thing from when he's in the ship.
Oh yeah.
I remember having this set though. I think it's still somewhere in a million pieces that I'll have to build. If I ever am able to find all the pieces for these, I'm gonna hardcore try and build them all and display them because they were some fun sets that weren't uber crazy to build. But yeah, Lego Space Jesus. We got this. We got all kinds of Attack of the Clones sets, and again those Phantom Menace and original trilogy sets. And then in 2003, I talked about this a little bit, but it was when they introduced more of the natural skin colors. So we got this with the Cloud City set, which everybody's still yellow except for our boy Lando Calrissian, which I don't know how I feel about that because yeah. So Lando, the only one that has a non-yellow face, Lego's first foray into really sort of having natural looking skin color rather than the bright yellow that we know and love for Lego figures.
That's a great set. Just figures alone. Did all those figures come in there?
Yeah. So you have Lando, Boba, Han, Leia, Stormtrooper, and 3PO and R2.
Vader. And Vader.
No, not R2 Vader. Yes.
And how many places are there's so many locations?
They've done a bigger version of this as part of their Builder series, I think a couple years ago. But it is interesting. It's interesting looking at sort of the older sets and how they tried to capture various elements of the Star Wars movies into one set. Yeah. So this one for the audio listeners has the busted, or that's not C-3PO, that's Luke, I think, because I can see the lightsaber.
Oh, it is. Yeah. The window.
Yeah.
He's very yellow, folks.
So he is extremely yellow. You've got Vader and Luke when Vader yeets Luke out the window. You've got the carbon freezing chamber. You've got the little dining room where Vader graciously welcomes his guests for dinner, and then Han decides to shoot at him.
Allegedly.
Did Han shoot first, or did those bullets magically fly out of his gun? Only time will tell. Yeah, so another great set. Cool to see again the evolution of Lego sets as they kind of were really figuring. I feel like by this point they were really starting to figure out what was working and what wasn't with Lego sets. 2005 rolls around. We get the conclusion of the prequel trilogy, and really what a lot of people thought was going to be the conclusion of Star Wars. Revenge of the Sith. Of course, Revenge of the Sith means more toys, because if there's one thing George loved more than his movies is his merchandising. So we had all kinds of cool sets. This is a set that I had, which was when Kenobi, with not Jesus looking hair, very smooth looking hair, but of course that more natural skin color, chasing after General Grievous on Utapau. and you've got his was it Varactyl is what they're called?
Yeah.
I've actually got this. I found this at my parents, the Varactyl, and it is thick.
I want one of these, and I looked it up on eBay. I will not be purchasing one.
It's insane what some of these older sets go for. I mean, they really have. Again, though, I feel like it's the same thing with like old Star Wars toys. Like if you have pristine versions of the original stuff, then people want to get their hands on it as a collector.
And I feel Legos are even more so because the odds of you having every single piece 20 years later, like, makes it even more valuable.
Which, yeah, I mean, part of me is like, oh, if I hadn't destroyed, like, they're all in 2 giant tubs at my parents' place. I'm like, oh, if I only had preserved these, but at the same time, like, I was a kid.
You weren't.
I wouldn't like Star Wars Legos if I hadn't played with them as a kid because of the nostalgia it brings back. But again, like I said, Revenge of the Sith brought new sets for them to model, and of course, again, they were releasing original trilogy and Attack of the Clones and the Phantom Menace, so we got a whole hodgepodge of Star Wars sets at this point. Then 2007 rolls around, and we get the first version of the UCS Millennium Falcon.
That's the one I think of when I think of Lego Millennium Falcons.
This at the time was the largest Lego set that which it's funny that they picked the Millennium Falcon to always be the largest Lego set whenever, because the one they eventually released in 2017 was at the time the largest Lego set. So they really said, Falcon, we're going to throw as many pieces at it as we can. Comes with, I think, was it 5 figures? Yeah, 5 figures. So you've got Farm Boy Luke, Leia, Chewie, Han, and old Ben Kenobi. Another great set, 5,197 pieces.
Did this one, and I love the McCurry Vader at the top. Did this one have the panels that are on hinges on the top and the inside is also built?
That I can't remember.
I feel like one of them did.
It looks like it almost by the
panel shapes.
Of it. Yeah, kind of how it's built, but I'm not 100% sure on that. It's a cool set though. I mean, I don't know which one I like more, this one or the big UCS one that came out in 2017.
Do you know, did they release a solo version of the Falcon Lego?
I think a smaller version of it, just like there's a smaller version of the Falcon from The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Not quite the UCS scale, but more of like a kid-friendly play scale. Cool looking set. 2008 gave us the Clone Wars, so they started rolling out. Anytime we got new Star Wars content was like, I feel like Lego immediately thought, all right, let's pull the lever and start cashing in on this. So we got Clone Wars focused sets, and then in 2008 we got the UCS Death Star, which this I feel like has made cameos in a number of movies. This one and the Death Star 2. Everything from Spider-Man to spoilers. For Spider-Man.
So if you're listening to the podcast, this Death Star was, if you've seen the past 2 Spider-Man movies, this is the one we're talking about.
Yeah, this one or the Death Star 2. It's one of the 2 of them. But this is cool. This UCS Death Star was really cool, the first one, because there's 24 minifigures included in it, and all of them allowed you to pretty much play out every scene that was on the Death Star in A New Hope. So you've got,
that's so cool.
Just like the logic behind that. I mean, you've got the conference room that Vader's in with all the different Imperial leadership. You've got the trash compactor. You've got the reactor with Kenobi. You've got the prison sort of cell ward. Yeah, you've got the gunner station. You've got the room where R2 and 3PO are kind of hanging out in. So just the playability of this, like, it's obviously geared towards collectors and it's a collector focused set, but still having the ability to play with it is really cool. Big fan of this one. Skip ahead a little bit. 2011, we got the UCS Super Star Destroyer, which is massive. It was the longest. At the time it was what you would call super. It was the longest Lego product ever made at the time. In 2013, we got the world's largest Lego ever. This was a 1-to-1 replica of the Lego Star Wars X-Wing Starfighter. So this was revealed at New York's Times Square. Took 32 master builders, 5.3 million Lego bricks, and over 17,000 hours to complete.
45,980 pounds of Lego.
Insane. The fact that like just the 5.3 million Lego bricks.
That's, oh my gosh.
Could you imagine if someone broke that and just stepping on 5.3 million Lego bricks? It's crazy.
What's the Yoda stuff in the background of it? It says the Yoda Chronicle. I don't remember that.
Oh, it was probably, I mean, this was 2013, so it was probably.
Let's watch the premiere of the Yoda Chronicle.
Was it maybe one of the Lego? I feel like that was a Lego, because the Lego, obviously, Lego Star Wars has expanded beyond the sets to the games, and they've done shorts and had their own, not TV shows, but like adventure series and things like that. Folks set it in the Star Wars universe. So I think the Yoda Chronicles were part of that. Again, cool to see the evolution of it. And sort of you think about like 1999, the early days of Lego sets and the simplicity, to 2013, you get this life-size behemoth of a Lego set. It's just crazy. Insanity. 2014, Rebels comes out, new content, new Lego sets. So we got some Rebel sets, like this 2-in-1 super pack that's got the Ghost and your gang of Rebels friends from season 1.
Interesting cast of characters they give you there. I should say an interesting omission.
Who's missing? Oh, we've got Zeb, Hera. Oh, Sabine is missing. Yeah, you got to get another pack. You got to get the second pack.
They gave you everybody except Sabine, but they gave you a stormtrooper instead. I wonder why.
Merchandising, my friend. Merchandising. Again, new content, new Lego sets, and they still continue to release stuff from the older movies and shows. So you still got Clone Wars stuff and prequel trilogy stuff and original trilogy stuff. One thing we did get in 2014 that was a little bit different is the microfighters. So these are real small, came in poly bags. I don't know if microfighters still live on nowadays. But obviously, oh no, we do have microfighters still. Yeah, we do, because I have microfighters. Like, wait a second, I do. I have the Razor Crest microfighter somewhere.
Oh yeah, that just came out, right? And I know they have a little tiny Falcon with Han sitting on top of it, like Mario Kart.
Yep. So ignore that past statement. Microfighter is still going strong,
and they're incredible.
They were small enough to fit in your hand, big enough to carry a minifigure. So really cool. 2015, we get the introduction of the sequel trilogy, which means more content. So we got all kinds of sequel trilogy content: Last Jedi, Force Awakens. Really, just new iterations of previous stuff. So we had X-Wings and Poe's X-Wing. It is interesting to see the number of times that Lego has remade sets that we've seen previously. So like the number of times the X-Wing fighter has been remade, or the number of times that the TIE fighters have been remade, or the Lambda shuttle has been remade. Just they're like, all right, we've released this before, but let's get it newer and fresher. And then to kind of wrap up the pictures, 2017, we got the UCS Millennium Falcon. It was 10 years after its original predecessor. Was just absolutely massive. You can still kind of find this, I feel like, in stores, but it really depends. 7,541 pieces, just a big old boy, big thick boy. I have kicked around the idea of getting this guy more than once.
I love that there are two satellite options.
Mm-hmm. Well, obviously, I mean, this came out, either post Last Jedi or right before it, one of the two. I think it was post Last Jedi. So you have to have kind of the new and the old. So you get Empire Strikes Back figures with Han, 3PO, and Minok, Chewie, and Leia, and then you also get old Han, Finn, some Porgs. It must have been post Last Jedi because there are Porgs, BB-8, Rey, and the new satellite dish,
and the brick tool.
Yeah.
Which,
that brick tool has come in clutch
Clutch.
so many times. You don't even know. It's just insane how much I've loved the addition of that.
I can't get them off. Like that's not happening with these. Like that tool, I have to have it.
Yep.
For folks who don't do Legos, the large Legos, do either one of you guys have one of the Lego instruction books near you?
Yes.
I don't. I think I got rid of a bunch of mine, but they're like the bigger the set, the thicker the book gets, and they're
like encyclopedias.
Well, like the UCS one, I think it's like spiral bound. Yeah, like it's insane how big these books get. And the UCS scale, the new ones, because they just keep trying to one up themselves. So like the UCS Falcon has like spiral rings holding it together. Mari's got her probe droid, which is, I mean, that's got some girth to it. That's a thick book.
That's crazy.
Really, really crazy. And then hopping more into the present, in 2019, it was the 20th anniversary of Lego working with Star Wars, the whole birth of Star Wars Legos. So we got some new throwback sets, which I have one of the Slave One. They kind of redid some of their more iconic sets, made them a little bigger, a little newer, and included a little tribute figure. So I've got a 20th anniversary Leia that came with the Slave One. Cool to see. I think there was 5 or 6 sets that came out just to celebrate that. And then some newer sets we've gotten. We got the most recent UCS was the AT-AT that came out, $800. I think that is now the current largest Star Wars Lego. Not the largest Lego. That goes to the Titanic, which that thing is a behemoth.
Yeah.
But the largest Star Wars Lego, I believe, is now the AT-AT. Just really cool set. I think it's 2 feet tall.
It's crazy, man.
It's insane.
I want it.
It's a cool looking set. Another thing we got recently is I think it's the Ultimate Builders collection. So it's like the UCS, but it's a little different, little more, not priced easily, but a little not as harsh as like an $800. I think that they're closer to like $350 on the higher end. But those are like the Mos Eisley Cantina set. A little bit more of a location rather than a vehicle.
Yeah, and that set is super detailed, like insanely detailed.
I have kicked around getting the Cantina set multiple times, because I think it would just be cool. Like I've seen people like get glass tables and just like build out a whole Lego scene in the table, and I was like, I don't need it, but I kind of need it.
I'm gonna get it.
I'm gonna get it. And then obviously the new shows, the Disney Plus shows, The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett. When those came out, we got new sets, which I now have a problem because I'm buying too many of them. I've got the Razor Crest, the Moff Gideon Light Cruiser, the Boba Fett Starship, a Grogu, Tatooine. Oh God, I don't even know.
I have two Lego sets that are Star Wars.
Too many. I've just like dove right off the deep end. Oh, I've got the Armors set. Clone Wars came out, so we got a Clone Wars, the final season of Clone Wars. So we got the Duel on Mandalore, which Mari and I have.
I love that one.
And then another cool set that I don't know how recent they are. I want to say it was easily at least last year, if not the year before, 2021, 2020, was the Helmet Collection, which is basically just a reimagining. You can see for the YouTube viewers, Mari's got Darth Vader's helmet, and in the box behind her, another real cool set. I've got 4 of them so far, and we talked about some new ones coming, the Din Djarin helmet and the Luke Skywalker Red 5. They're another, I think, geared more towards the collector Lego fan, but just real nice, real good kind of like just decorations. Like I love mine. The detail on them looks great. How they're built is really unique. Like Vader is almost like a samurai helmet, reminds me, like when you build it, which kind of goes to the inspiration behind Vader's helmet. Real cool. Really big fan.
I haven't built any of these. Are they hollow?
There's like a base that you connect everything to. So like the inside is kind of like a multitude of colors.
Yeah.
Because obviously they don't care what colors on the inside. You're not going to see it.
Yeah.
But there is like a central kind of point that you connect everything to and build off of.
Okay.
Yeah. I've built the Iron Man helmet, and it's solid. It's heavy. But I will be building this Darth Vader on our TikTok live at some point.
I picked up. This is my most recent one. Was the TIE Fighter helmet, and just the detail on these is insane.
That looks really good outside the box.
Yeah. So like the way they tried to replicate the hoses on the actual nozzles of the helmet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's so cool. And this is like a simple, like just a single, like bendable connecting point. And then you just kind of feed these rings on it, but it looks like spot on to what the tubes would look like.
Are those Imperial logo pieces? Are those solid pieces?
Yeah, they're printed on. They're not stickers.
Oh,
I mean, are the pieces solid? Like, could you use those for something else?
Oh yeah, I mean, I can just take them.
Oh, it's a single piece. Oh
yeah,
boy.
Yeah. Oh, now I gotta try and rebuild it. Stay tuned. I'll fix that later. That's a later me issue.
So
that's what happened to my probe droid. That's a later thing.
But yeah, kind of a brief-ish history of Lego Star Wars. You know, it's only been a little over 20 years. I think 2022 actually their contract is up. So I imagine they're going to re-up it. It's been set to expire multiple times in the past, and they've kept re-upping it. And I think as Legos have kind of become more popular, especially in the collector realm, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. Especially with all the new content coming out. I mean, we talked about the Mandalorian scene with Luke and the Dark Troopers. You've got Book of Boba Fett has got a bunch of rumored sets. Jabba's Palace.
Hey, that's Boba's Palace. Thank you very much.
Boba's Palace. I'm sorry. Is it whose palace? It's like who does the Darksaber belong to? Who does the palace belong to? Is it Bib, Boba, or Jabba's?
What do you know? A Star Wars product coming out during the height of the hype for said product.
I'll give props to Lego, man. They have done a good job of getting stuff out to capitalize on the new content. So
man, brick by brick, right?
It hurts my wallet, but you know, it gets me through the day.
And there's
are you seeing this?
I think there are 2 Lego stores like within like 15 miles of my place.
I know there's one at Tyson's and one
the Hob
at Potomac Mills.
There's one at the National Harbor too.
And one in okay, well, you know,
it's right next to a Peeps store.
Don't tell me that. I don't need another Lego store.
Wait, there's one at the National Harbor?
That's what I'm saying. Yep. I was like, how did I not know this?
I was just there.
You could have bought a Lego.
By the way, the National Harbor, for folks not from this area, is not in DC. It's in Maryland.
It's in Maryland.
Yeah, across the water.
You can see DC.
Yeah, you can see it.
So yeah, lots of cool sets, lots of different sets. We've seen a lot of variation in the Lego Star Wars sets. What are some of y'all's favorite sets? As we can start with Mari, we'll start with you. What are some of your single sets, collections? What's been some of your favorite Lego sets? I know you got more into Lego a little later on, so maybe not as much on the earlier sets.
Yeah, the earlier sets, I'm definitely nowhere. I don't even know them. Like the pictures you sent, those are the first times I've ever seen them. So, but the Super Star Destroyer was the first one that made me really go, I want all of the Star Wars Legos. So that one like has like a special place in my heart. I love that thing. I want it so badly. But that's probably never gonna happen. The other 2 that I really like are the battle or the duel on Mandalore. Like I love this little set. It's just
so simple.
Yeah.
But so effective.
Yeah.
And it also comes with the Jedi coffin.
Yep.
I love that the glass panel breaks in that one, where like you can push it back and like recreate that scene.
I think you have to take this throne out in order for it to work.
Uh-oh. Don't break it on live camera.
I'm not gonna break it. But don't break the coffin opens.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Like
again, it's just cool, and that's a smaller set, accessible to most people. I mean, it's not super
it's still
expensive.
On shelves.
It's still on shelves, and it's for something that's popular. Yeah, there you go.
That's roughly $20. I think it's $20. I'm not sure.
But it goes on sale. Anytime Target runs a sale, it's on sale. I mean, it's if you want like smaller Legos to kind of dip your toes in, those sets are really good ones that are quick builds, nothing too complex. And once you buy one of them, you're hooked, kind of thing.
Yep.
In that particular set, you get 2 sought after figures, Ahsoka and Maul.
Yep. She just fell off, but I got her.
She back.
And then the last one I'd say is in my top 3 would probably be that AT-AT.
Yeah.
Those UCS ones are just so gorgeous and in depth. I want all of them. This is my problem. I like the really expensive things.
Girls got taste.
Quality.
Expensive taste.
It's a cool set. I underestimated it. Originally when it was announced, I was like, oh, that's a cool big gray camel. But the interior of it, they really like put the effort into to make it detailed, and you can buy battle packs that have all the snow troopers in it, so you can fill it with like 30 plus snow troopers. Like you can make that a full set. And of course they've released a company set, so you can get a Snow Walker ATST and a tiny probe droid and stuff to really build out. If you want to build out a Battle of Hoth scene, you go crazy and buy 3 AT-ATs at $800 a piece. Go nuts.
If you did want to build a Battle of Hoth scene, you could go to any Comic-Con, go to every third booth, and go to the not so official Lego Man booths and purchase a ton of them for pennies on the dollar.
Yep.
BP, what about you? What are some of your favorite sets?
So I'm not a huge Lego guy. I want to be. I really enjoy looking at the boxes that they come in. My issue is I'm such a stickler for stuff being super accurate to on screen that if like I said it earlier with the Mando helmet, it's very study.
Mm-hmm.
It just takes it out for me. I don't know why, but I don't dislike them. I just don't buy them because of that reason. That being said, I've always wanted the glass encased coffee table with the Millennium Falcon, like the biggest possible one, with as many characters around it as possible. So the Falcon and Lego are one and the same for me. After seeing that life-size X-Wing, I love that.
Just casually park that in your apartment.
Yeah, just right there. Pow. I really love that Duel of Mandalore. It's so simple. It's such a little set, but it's powerful. I love it. And that brand new set that we just talked about, that is glorious. I love it. I want it. I need it.
Yeah, I'm excited for that to come out. And again, it's relatively affordable. I think that's $30. You get 4 minifigures and you get to recreate a cool scene.
I wouldn't be surprised before Todd gives us his favorites if new sets coming out here soon are going to go in the way that I don't know if you guys have seen the new Batman movie that's coming out, The Batman. There's a couple Lego sets that have been released, and I actually bought one. Light up bricks and glow in the dark bricks.
Yeah.
Like I got it's a bat signal and it glows in the dark.
Nice.
That's cool.
I wouldn't be surprised if Star Wars starts doing that too, because there's a giant Batmobile that it's like 2,000 pieces. It's light up technology, so it lights up everywhere inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
that's gonna be really cool if they bring that over to Star Wars, and like just think of the ships or hallways.
Yeah. Oh, I know you can buy like aftermarket lighting kits and all that.
Yeah.
And it really makes like some of those UCS sets and those larger scene sets pop with adding just a little bit of light, makes it come to life.
Right, Todd, what is your couple of your favorites?
So mine, I'm a sucker for nostalgia when it comes to Lego. I mean, that was, like I said, some of my earliest memories with Star Wars Legos were those prequel era sets. So the Naboo water set, the Gungan ship, I had one with Maul, battle droid, like just all the really early simple ones. I love. They're just something about them. They're not trying to do too much. They're easy to build and they bring back some fun memories.
That Jar Jar figure is amazing.
I've got like 3 or 4 of them.
You texted me a picture of like 4 of them together one time, and I was just like, "That's incredible."
Like when I say that's the one thing my parents got us a lot when we were kids, were Legos. So we have like giant tubs of whole kinds. Like Lego Star Wars, Lego Medieval Knights, Lego, like just every possible Lego you can imagine, which is awful because now trying to rebuild these sets, I'm like going through multiple sets worth of Legos. And it's crazy. But yeah, those prequel era sets, really, the Phantom Menace especially, and Attack of the Clones, just because of how important those movies were when I was a younger kid, and how much that sort of impacted my love of Star Wars. I remember seeing Attack of the Clones in theaters, and of course drinking as much soda as possible during and before the movie. And then when the Battle of Geonosis was on screen, like almost peeing my pants because I didn't want to leave to go to the bathroom. So they bring up a special like nostalgia for me.
Right here on the fly, I just thought of this. It's 2022. That means it's a 10-year anniversary of the Phantom Menace 3D.
Oh, is it? It's also the 20th anniversary of Attack of the Clones.
Yep. We could do a watch party
in 3D.
In 3D. We could do a watch party of one of these two movies. We should do that. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, prequel era, love them. Helmet collection have been a big fan of. I got the Boba Fett one to start off because if people who watch us and listen know I'm by literally anything and everything Boba Fett. Started that off, and then I've just kind of picked up more and more sets. So I got the TIE Fighter's my most recent one. I've got Scout Trooper, Vader. I'll pick up the Din Djarin one. I'm just really big fan of them. They're simple sets. They take maybe a couple of hours to build, and they look cool. And they're not accurate per se, but they're not inaccurate. Other than the Red 5 helmet, that one doesn't look as great in my opinion. But the rest of them are pretty spot on to what they're trying to mimic. Love those. And then all the Mando sets and all the Book of Boba Fett sets that are going to come out. Those are both going to be big ones for me. And
they're not even out yet.
Just the rumors that I'm hearing about some of them, like a Boba's Palace set, which they've done Jabba's Palace in the past. Or
the Mod Gang would be really cool in Lego.
You could get the Mod Gang in the mod shop. You can get a Black Chrysanthemum Lego. The hangar. There's just so many options when it comes to these shows.
Sarlacc pit,
Sarlacc escape scene. Like there's just they're
the train,
the train. I guarantee we're going to get a train with Pike minifigures. I mean, it's printing money for Lego.
A Bantha with Boba or any of the
and baby Banthas.
Yep,
I want it.
That would be so good.
We've lost Mari.
I've died.
I'm a big fan of what they're doing with the new Lego sets. Price wise, they can get a little like sometimes that doesn't always line up, but for the most part, they're worth it. And
you know what you're getting with Lego. You know what I mean? Like Black Series can be hit or miss with face sculpts. Lego, you're getting quality.
Yeah,
and I love collecting like TVC and Black Series, but there's something about Lego, like just being able to sit down, rip bags open, throw pieces on the table, and just spend time putting them together and building them. That's like almost therapeutic. It's just like you can just like throw on. Like I built Moff Gideon's light cruiser and watched the last 4 episodes of season 2 of The Mandalorian while I did it. So real fun.
There's worse ways to spend a day.
Exactly.
I think I was watching like rewatching Clone Wars and Rebels episodes while I was building the Duel of Mandalore. I don't think I was watching the actual duel, but like I was just kind of like finding mall episodes to watch.
Yeah, it's just like you can have something playing in the background while you're building these, and I don't know. I enjoy it. I buy them almost because I enjoy the building aspect as much as like the displaying and collecting aspect of them.
All right, I think that's going to do it for us this week. Shout out to Todd for putting this one together. This one took a lot of effort.
Yeah.
So shout out to Todd. I genuinely, after hearing all this, I want to hear what you, the listeners or watchers, what is your favorite Lego set? What do you want? What are you looking forward to? Because I feel like we could talk Legos for like 2 more episodes and not anywhere near like all of them.
Oh, there's so many more sets. I think there's like 700 and something Lego sets that have come out in the 20+ year history of Lego. It's insane.
bananas. But if you're watching this, comment down below. Tell us what your favorite stuff is, Lego stuff. And if you are listening, make sure you're following us on all our social medias, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and let us know, like, what's your favorite Legos. Maybe we'll do some live streaming Legos on our TikTok, aka Mari with that Darth Vader box behind her.
I've been waiting.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what? I always forget. You can rate our show on Spotify now. So shoot over there. Give us 5 stars if you think we're doing okay-ish job. But until next week, remember, the Force will be with you always.